In the last video, we created our key code widget here and set up the basic functionality. Now we just need to have it set up so when we press OK, we can test the door, as well as we want to make it show up when we try the door. So what we're going to do is in the door.h, let's create a public function. It's going to be a u function, blueprint callable. Category is going to be escape room door. And we're just going to do bool try door. And inside of here, we want to take in an f string. It's going to be a reference. And let's do door code. And we want to make it a constant because we don't want it to change. So let's generate that implementation. Close down out of item. And now we also want to add in a door code somewhere in here. So I'm going to copy and paste the door key, view property, then add a f string door key. What we do is when we go to interact, like right in here, when we try to interact, if we're on the client, we want to do a test and pretty much see. So we're going to have to change this up actually to where interact returns a Boolean or something like that as to whether or not it has a key. And if it does have a key, then we handle it differently. So anyways, on try door, this is going to return a Boolean if it's correct. So we're going to do a test. So if door code equals, I call this one door code. I had this one door. We'll do door key code equals door key code. Then we will go through and call interact. So we call interact. However, we cannot necessarily do that because we are on the client in some cases. But for the testing purposes, we'll just actually we can't do that either. So we're gonna have to have our own functionality here to do something else. But for the meantime, we will return true. Otherwise, we return false. That should take care of that for us. Now let's give door key code a default value in the constructor of something like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's go ahead and close and relaunch. All right, let's reopen that asset. Go to graph, go to our try door function that we made, and we're just going to simply call try door. And the code we want to pass in is the input. And then for the return value, do a branch. If it returns true, we know we're good. Returns false. Well, let me rephrase that. If we return true, we call close widget. If we return false, we reset this and just set it to error. So that's going to have us do something else here. So let's do set input text. Let's open that up. Do a check here first. Let's get the input text. Check if it equals something. We're going to do case insensitive. Check if it keeps equals error. Do a branch. And if it does equal error, we want to actually set input to equal nothing. And then we go through and we set the input that was passed in, and same thing with false. So like this. Now let's give it a try. Press OK. Nothing's going to happen because we don't have a valid door. What we need to do is give that a try or figure out a way to open it up with a door. Or better yet, we can also test this out. So let's do get actors. Get actor by, what is it? It's like get actors by class. Get all actors of class. And the class is going to be door. And we're just going to go ahead and do a get for the first element, pass that in as the door ref, and link that up for now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Press OK. It closes. That means it worked. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. Press OK. And it's failing. So it's not actually printing out what we need inside of try door. Let's just print out a string, actually, because we're not showing it. So what we need to do is set TB input. No, we need to get it, sorry. Get TB input. Set the text. To just simply be error. Like so. Now when we try again, doesn't work. Then we get it, and it closes. We have that set up now, and it's working. So now, the only thing we know we have to do... Actually, I'm curious. Yeah, never mind, I forgot we never called anything. So what we have to do next is set it up to, when we walk up to a door and we press F on it to interact, we want to actually try to bring up the widget instead of just forcing it open, like so. No, it's this one, like so. We're going to have to come up with some way to alter, like I said, our interact function. So we're going to have to go through and modify our interact function from our interface. So that way it returns just something as to whether or not we entered it in correctly, because we want to have it set up so if we enter it in correctly on the client, we want to then pass that string to the server, but we only want to do it if it is correct. So that way we're not constantly sending a server RPC every time the client clicks OK. So if they want to spam it and be a douche, they can, but it's not going to do anything. So what we do, we take that, we send that input to the server then validates that it is correct, in which case it will open the door. So we're going to have to figure out, or better yet, we can almost override or create another interact function as well that can be implemented differently to be called instead. So that one would take in no parameters other than, let's see, we're taking no parameters other than just a simple key code. However, we are not going to be the owner of the door, so we cannot call RPCs on it. So we would have to have some functionality in our character as well that we could make the call back to. So that's probably what we're going to try to do. So we're going to have our interact function that is going to be dictated by whether or not your key code is, not an empty string. If it is not an empty string, we call back to the client, in which case we open up the widget, which means we're going to have to make a change here as well. Let's see, where's our interact? Here we go through, we call interact. We get the hit result, so we can do a check here and just see whether or not the interact, so we're going to pretty much call this on the client again. We're going to check if this returns true or false. And that's going to dictate whether or not we then call the server RPC if we're on the client. So it's going to be a little bit of a kind of a doozy of back and forth, but it should hopefully make sense once it's actually done. Anyhow, if you like what I'm doing and you want to help support me, you can find a link to my Patreon down in the description below, where I have a Team Deathmatch series just for Patrons, where I create a Team Deathmatch and other features such as weapon customization and Call of Duty-like respawns. If you have any questions, anything like that, feel free to join my Discord that's also linked down below, and I'll try to help you out there as well. And as always, I will see you in the next video.